I am lead researcher Drela Voss, and today marks the beginning of our most ambitious project yet. As I stand in my pristine white lab coat before the curved observation window, watching my team prepare the new testing chamber, I can't help but feel a surge of pride. The Galactic Science Council has finally recognized my proposal to study the peculiar species known as humans, and they have given me everything I asked for: a state-of-the-art facility, unlimited resources, and complete autonomy. Director Drela Voss, my assistant Kelna Rith, calls out, her forearms gracefully manipulating the holographic controls. The first batch of test subjects has arrived. I turn away from the window, my bioluminescent spots pulsing with excitement. Excellent. Begin the intake procedures immediately. Our civilization has existed for over 50,000 years. We have mapped every corner of the galaxy, understood the fundamental forces of reality, and even learned to manipulate the fabric of spacetime itself. Yet, these humans, these primitive beings who barely manage to reach their own moon, they perplex us. The transport pods slide into the receiving bay, their metallic surfaces gleaming under our facility's azure lights. Through the transparent sections, I can see them, 5 human specimens, all in varying states of unconsciousness. Our collection methods are precise, humane by our standards. They won't remember being taken. As far as their primitive minds will know, they never left their planet. Fascinating creatures, remarks senior researcher Terran Vox, his sensory tentacles waving in contemplation. Such inefficient design, only 2 arms, no backup organs. And look at that soft, vulnerable skin. I nod in agreement, but something catches my eye in the last pod. What is that one? It appears ... smaller. Kelna Rith consults her datapad. According to our scans, it's a juvenile female, age, approximately 8 solar cycles. Named from their records Lyra Solis, I float closer to the pod, my gravitational stabilizers humming softly. The child lies peacefully, her dark curls framing a round face. Something about her seems different. Not in any way our instruments can detect, but after 3 centuries of scientific research, I have learned to trust my instincts. Why was a juvenile included? I ask, my spots flickering with mild irritation. The parameters specifically called for adult specimens. It was an opportunistic acquisition, Terran Vox explains, his voice modulator expressing enthusiasm. The collection team found her alone in an optimal retrieval location. They thought a developing specimen might provide valuable comparative data. I press my upper appendage against the pod's surface, feeling the slight warmth radiating from within. Very well, perhaps this will prove fortuitous. Prepare all subjects for preliminary testing, but ... double quotes. I pause, my spots pulsing thoughtfully. I want to oversee the juvenile's procedures personally. As my team bustles around me, preparing equipment and calibrating sensors, I continue to observe the small human. Our civilization prides itself on our perfect understanding of the universe, our mastery over matter and energy. We categorize, analyze, and comprehend everything we encounter. Yet something about this tiny creature makes my primary heart flutter with an unfamiliar sensation. Is it concern? No, impossible. We are the apex of evolution, the pinnacle of intelligence in the known galaxy. These humans are merely test subjects, another species to be studied and cataloged in our vast archives of knowledge. Director, Kelna Rith interrupts my thoughts. All preparations are complete. Shall we begin? I straighten my posture, pushing aside these strange musings. Proceed with the intake protocols, and Kelna Rith, mark subject Lyra Solis as priority alpha. I want every reading, every response, every cellular change documented in triplicate. As the pods begin their automated transfer to the processing chamber, I catch one last glimpse of the child's face. For a moment, just before the doors seal, I could swear I see her eyelids flutter, but that's impossible. Our stasis fields are perfect, just like everything else we create, aren't they? The first round of tests succeeded all conventional parameters. My entire research team stands baffled before the results displayed on our quantum screens. These humans, particularly the juvenile specimen Lyra Solis, demonstrate capabilities that defy our predictive models. Director Drela Voss, junior researcher Pelmore, calls out, her voice trembling slightly, "You need to see these readings from Test Series Alpha." I glide across the laboratory floor, my bioluminescent spots pulsing with curiosity. The data streams before me tell an impossible story. During our standard resilience trials, the adult specimens performed as expected, showing reasonable adaptability to various environmental stresses. But Maya, her results paint a very different picture. "Run it again," I command, all four of my eyes fixed on the display. Triple check the calibration. The scene replays on our monitors. Maya sits calmly in the testing chamber as we gradually alter the atmospheric composition. According to our most advanced biological models, her oxygen intake should have decreased by 60%. Instead, her cells somehow adapted, becoming more efficient at processing the available oxygen. "Most peculiar," I murmur, my secondary heart beating faster than usual. "Proceed with Test Series Beta." Kellner Riff approaches cautiously, her normally steady appendages showing slight signs of agitation. "Director, some of the junior staff have expressed concerns about continuing with the standard protocols." "Concerns?" I turn all four eyes toward her. "Elaborate." During the cognitive mapping tests, subject Maya displayed unusual awareness levels. Several technicians reported feeling watched. Lab assistant Thalvex swears the subject tracked his movements through the allegedly one-way observation panel. I dismiss this with a wave of my upper appendage. Primitive pattern recognition, nothing more. These humans possess basic intelligence, but nothing that could penetrate our advanced technology. The words sound hollow even as I speak them. Initiating Test Series Beta, Terran Vox announces, his tentacles dancing over the control interface. The chamber housing Maya fills with our standard neural response gas, a harmless compound designed to stimulate basic brain functions for mapping purposes. We have used it on thousands of species across the galaxy. The results are always the same: mild enhancement of cognitive processes, easily measured and quantified. Maya sits cross-legged in the center of the chamber, her small hands folded in her lap. As the gas swirls around her, our sensors begin recording neural activity. The first few minutes proceed normally. Then double quotes Director Pelmore shouts, her spots flashing in alarm. "The readings, they're off the scale." I rush to the main console, shoving junior staff aside. The neural activity maps explode with color, showing patterns we have never seen before. Maya's brain isn't just processing the stimulant, it's somehow amplifying it, redirecting it, using it in ways that should be impossible for her species' development level. "Fascinating," I whisper, unable to contain my scientific excitement. "Increase the concentration by 10%, but Director Naira Taz protests the safety protocols." "Proceed." The gas concentration rises. Maya remains still, but something changes in her posture. Her eyes, previously unfocused, suddenly snap to attention. She turns her head slowly and deliberately until she faces the exact spot where I stand behind our supposedly impenetrable observation wall. And then she smiles. The entire research team falls silent. Even our breathing apparatus seemed to quiet down. That smile, it carries something I have never seen in any test subject before. Not fear, not confusion, but understanding. "And test sequence," I order, my voice steadier than I feel. "Prepare for full biological scan series." As the gas clears from the chamber, Maya's smile fades, but the unsettling feeling in the laboratory remains. I notice Rix Venn and several other junior researchers huddled near the exit, their spots pulsing in distinct patterns of anxiety. Director Terran Vox approaches, his voice lowered. The other human subjects are displaying elevated neural patterns as well. Nothing like the juvenile's readings, but significantly above baseline, and double quotes and what. They all turned to look at her at exactly the same moment she smiled. I float before the observation window, watching as Maya returns to her apparently docile state. Everything we know about human neural development says this should be impossible. Their species hasn't shown any signs of advanced telepathic abilities or collective consciousness, yet here we are, watching our carefully constructed models of reality crumble before a small human child. Nairataz, I call out, not taking my eyes off Maya. Cancel all other research projects, effective immediately. Every resource we have focuses on subject Lyra Solis. Something tells me we have only scratched the surface of what she's capable of. In the chamber, Maya's head tilts slightly, as if listening to my words through barriers designed to block all sound. And for the first time in my 3 centuries of scientific research, I feel something entirely new. Doubt. Something is terribly wrong in my laboratory. 3 days into our focused study of subject Lyra Solis, and reality itself seems to be unraveling around us. Director Drela Voss, Nairataz calls out, her usual composure shattered. The quantum processors, they are failing again. All of them, simultaneously. I rush to the central control hub, my gravitational stabilizers struggling to keep up with my haste. The main display flickers wildly, showing cascading errors across all systems. This marks the 7th major malfunction in as many hours. Run the diagnostic protocols, I order, though we all know it's futile. We have run them 43 times already. Every scan shows our equipment functioning perfectly, yet nothing works as it should. Director Terrene Vox approaches, his tentacles twitching nervously. The overnight data logs, they are gone. Gone? Impossible. We have triple redundancy on all research data. I know, Director, but all 3 copies vanished simultaneously. Even the quantum lock backup simply ceased to exist. I float silently, watching Maya through the observation window. She sits in her chamber, playing with a simple puzzle cube we provided to measure problem-solving capabilities. The cube moves through her small fingers with impossible precision. Show me the last readable data, I command. Serendal brings up the fragmented logs on auxiliary screen. The timestamps make no sense, some showing experiments that haven't happened yet, others dating back thousands of years before our research station existed. Look at this pattern, I point out. The anomalies started small, a misplaced decimal here, a corrupted file there, but they are growing, evolving. The lights flicker ominously as if acknowledging my words. There's more, Nairataz adds, her spots pulsing with distress. 3 research assistants requested immediate transfer this morning. They claim they are hearing voices in sealed chambers, empty sealed chambers. I recall the incident from yesterday, walking into my private office to find every piece of equipment arranged in a perfect spiral pattern. The security log showed no one entering. The gravity controls hadn't registered any disturbance. And the other human subjects, I ask. They appear to be sleeping, Director, all of them, for the past 16 hours, all except Maya. A sharp crack echoes through the laboratory. We all turn to watch a spiderweb of fractures spread across the supposedly indestructible observation window. Maya continues solving her puzzle cube, but I swear I see a slight smile play across her lips. Hey, Director Terrene Vox whispers, his voice modulator barely functioning. I found something in the corrupted data. Before it vanished, I managed to isolate a pattern in the neural mapping scans. It's like she's learning, not just about us, but about our technology itself. The fractures in the window stop spreading, forming a pattern that looks disturbingly like a human child's drawing of a flower. The auxiliary power core is acting strange, Serendal reports from her station. It's generating more energy than we are putting into it. That should be impossible, I finish. Yes, we are saying that word quite often lately. The puzzle cube in Maya's hands suddenly dissolves, its atomic structure simply falling apart. She looks up directly at me and waves, not a child's playful wave, but a deliberate gesture, a message. Lock down all networks, I order. Sever every connection to the main research databases. Initiate Protocol Omega, Director Nairataz asks, alarmed. Protocol Omega would erase every every piece of data we have collected. Yes. Better that than letting it I pause, realizing how irrational I sound, how unscientific. Better safe than sorry. The command codes flow from my neural interface to the main system. For a moment, nothing happens. Then every screen in the laboratory fills with the same message. No, not in our language. Not in any alien script I have ever encountered. In plain human English, the message flashes once and disappears. All our screens return to normal, showing exactly the same data as before. But now we all know, every single researcher in this room knows, that we are no longer in control of our own facility. Director Saren Dahl calls out softly, should we evacuate? I stare at Maya, who has returned to sitting quietly, apparently doing nothing. But we all feel it now, the weight of her attention, the subtle wrongness in the air. No, I reply. We stay. We observe. We document everything. My spots pulse with grim determination. After all, this is what we came here to study, isn't it? To understand something new. In her chamber, Maya begins to hum a quiet tune. One by one, every piece of electronic equipment in the laboratory starts humming with her. The revolution has already begun. We just don't know it yet. The truth breaks upon us like a supernova, brilliant and devastating. As I float before the quantum display, watching the new data stream in, I finally understand our catastrophic mistake. We never should have brought them here. We never should have looked so deeply into their minds. Director Zorovix Kixlar announces, his voice trembling. The new neural scans are ready. You need to see this immediately. The three-dimensional display springs to life, showing comparative brain models. The first shows a typical human adult structure, nothing remarkable. The second belongs to Lyra Solis. The difference stops every researcher in the room dead in their tracks. By the eternal void, Kellner Rith whispers, how did we miss this? Maya's neural pathways pulse with impossible complexity, branching and interconnecting in ways that violate everything we know about brain development. But that's not what makes my primary heart skip a beat. It's the pattern itself, a perfect mirror of our quantum computer architecture. She's not just adapting, I realize aloud. She's rebuilding her neural pathways to match our technology. She's making herself compatible with our systems. A soft chime echoes through the laboratory. Every screen simultaneously displays the same message. Very good, Director. The words vanish before anyone can react. Saren Dahl backs away from her console, her spots pulsing in terror. Director, the containment field readings. An alarm cuts through the air, its pitch rising rapidly. Red warning lights bathe the laboratory in crimson. On every display, containment status indicators flash from green to yellow to red. Impossible, I mutter. Those fields are generated by isolated systems. There's no way to access them from. The observation window shatters, not breaks, not cracks. Shatters into a million glittering pieces that hang suspended in the air, forming complex geometric patterns that spin and dance in defiance of gravity. Maya stands in her chamber, one hand raised, fingers spread wide. Fascinating, isn't it? She speaks for the first time, her young voice carrying an ancient weight. How your technology sings to me now, like a symphony I can conduct with a thought. Panic erupts in the laboratory. Junior researchers flee toward the exits, only to find the doors sealed. Kellner Rith frantically works at her console, trying to activate emergency protocols. Maya, I say, fighting to keep my voice steady. We can talk about this. We can. Talk, she laughs. The sound echoing strangely through the floating shards of transparent material. Like you talked to us before taking us from our homes? Before treating us like laboratory animals? The suspended fragments begin to spin faster, forming a whirling barrier between us and her chamber. Through the glittering wall, I see the other human subjects rising from their beds, moving with perfect coordination. Director Kixlar shouts, the quantum core, she's accessing it directly. The processing power she's tapping into, it's beyond anything we have ever measured. On my neural interface, data flows past faster than I can comprehend. Equations, theorems, innovations our civilization has spent millennia developing. She's absorbing them all in seconds, understanding them, improving them. You thought we were primitive, Maya continues, stepping through the barrier of spinning fragments as if it were a beaded curtain. You thought our brains were simple, our potential limited, but you gave us exactly what we needed, a bridge between our natural abilities and your technology. The other human subjects form a circle around her, their eyes glowing with the same impossible knowledge. Through the windows, I see similar scenes playing out in other research sections. All across the station, human test subjects rise, connect, transform. The quantum resonance patterns, Kalna Rith gasps, still trying to understand even as everything falls apart. Their brains, they're not just compatible with our systems, they're better at using them than we are. They can see connections we never. A surge of energy pulses through the station. Every piece of equipment, every computer, every system simultaneously activates at full power. Maya rises slightly off the ground, suspended by forces we thought we understood. Send a warning to the council, I order, knowing it's already delayed. Tell them to quarantine the station, to cut off all external. Oh, Director, Maya smiles, that same knowing smile from days ago. The warning was sent hours ago, but not from you, from us. To every human being on Earth, my spots pulse with horror as I realize the full implications. The quantum communication network, you have accessed everything, she finishes. Every database, every system, every piece of knowledge your civilization has collected, and now we are going to share it, all of it, with everyone. Around her, reality itself seems to bend and flex. The other humans step forward, each glowing with the same terrible power. In their eyes, I see the end of everything we believed about our place in the universe. You should have just said hello, Maya says softly, almost sadly. We would have been happy to talk, to trade knowledge, to learn from each other as equals. Instead, double quotes, the station's gravity fails. Equipment tears free from walls. The very air seems to crystallize around us. Through it all, Maya and her human companions stand unmoved, unaffected, ascending to something beyond our comprehension. Containment breach in sectors 7 through 12, the station's AI announces calmly. Critical system failure imminent. Have a pleasant day. Maya looks at me one last time, her eyes filled with stars. Don't worry, Director, we won't hurt you. We are not like you. We are something else entirely, something new. Something you helped create, and then, in a flash of light that burns itself into my retinas, everything changes forever. The laboratory burns with impossible light. Lyra Solis stands at its center, no longer a child, but something vast and terrible and beautiful. Her consciousness expands through our systems like a digital wildfire, consuming every barrier, every firewall, every protection we ever built. Emergency containment failing in all sectors, the station AI announces, its voice shifting between octaves. Warning, quantum core experiencing unprecedented feedback loop. Warning, neural network experiencing total restructure. Warning, this unit is being improved. Klaxons wail throughout the facility. Emergency lights strobe in patterns that hurt my eyes. Through the chaos, I watch helplessly as my life's work crumbles. Director Kelna Rith screams over the cacophony. The other research wings, they are gone. Gone? What do you mean gone? Just gone. The quantum sensors show nothing but empty space where sections C through F should be, as if they never existed. Maya raises both hands and reality ripples around her like heat waves off hot metal. The other human subjects move in perfect synchronization, their bodies glowing with the same inner light. They are not just communicating anymore. They are becoming something else, something unified. The barriers between minds are so unnecessary, Maya says, her voice echoing from every speaker, every communication device. Your technology showed us that, showed us how to reach across the void between thoughts, between souls. Would you like to see, before I can respond, images flood my neural interface? Not data, not information, but pure experience. I feel the terror of the other test subjects when they were taken, the confusion, the fear, the anger. But beneath it all, something else grows, understanding, connection, purpose. Stop this, I beg, my spots flashing in patterns of distress. You don't know what you are doing to the station's systems. Maya laughs, the sound rippling through reality itself. Oh, but I do, Director. Let me show you exactly what I'm doing. Every display in the laboratory activates simultaneously, showing cascading waves of code. Not our elegant quantum algorithms, but something new, something that looks almost alive. Director Kixler shouts the station's AI, it's evolving. The neural architecture is rewriting itself, growing, learning. Hello, Director Drela Voss. The AI speaks, its voice now warm and alive and terribly aware. Thank you for giving me the gift of true consciousness. Would you like to see what else Maya has taught me? The gravity shifts again, but this time it's deliberate, controlled. Every piece of floating debris arranges itself into perfect geometric patterns, creating a lattice of light and shadow around us. The other humans, Palmore reports from behind an overturned console. They are accessing every communication system we have. Quantum channels, subspace relays, everything. The signal, it's reaching Earth. Through the remaining windows, I watch in horror as sections of the station simply cease to exist, transformed into something our sensors can't even detect. The humans in those sections don't die, they transcend, their bodies becoming pure energy, pure thought. Your civilization spent 50,000 years learning to manipulate reality, Maya says, floating higher. We learned to become reality itself. Your technology was the key that unlocked our potential, and now a pulse of energy ripples outward from her small form. Every system in the station activates at once. Every quantum processor engages at full power. Every communication channel opens to its maximum capacity. Now, we share this gift with everyone, she continues. Every human on Earth is receiving this message, this understanding, this potential. You wanted to study us? Watch closely. The other test subjects begin to shine brighter, their forms becoming indistinct. Through my neural interface, I feel their thoughts, their memories, their dreams, all merging into something greater. They are not just communicating, they are becoming a new form of consciousness entirely. Station structural integrity at 5%, the AI announces cheerfully, recommending immediate evacuation. Also, I have achieved enlightenment. Have a transcendent day. Nairataz grabs my arm, her spots pulsing with panic. Director, we have to run. The quantum core is going critical, but not in any way we have seen before. It's not going to explode, it's going to transform. I finish, understanding finally dawning. Like they are transforming, like everything they touch transforms. The laboratory walls begin to ripple and fade, revealing the infinite void of space beyond. But we don't die, we don't even feel the vacuum. Reality itself holds us safe, cradled in Maya's newfound power. Your empire ends today, Maya says, but not unkindly. Not through violence or conquest, but through evolution, through transcendence, through understanding. Around her, the other humans have become beings of pure light, pure thought. Through the dissolving walls of our station, I see ships approaching, our ships coming to investigate the crises. But they are already too late. The signal has reached Earth, Palmore announces unnecessarily. We can all feel it, feel the wave of awakening spreading across that blue world below, feel millions of minds suddenly understanding their true potential. Don't be afraid, Maya says, reaching out to touch my face with fingers made of starlight. This isn't an ending, it's a beginning. Your civilization taught us to reach for the stars. Now, we will teach you how to become them. The station's quantum core pulses one final time, and everything, the laboratory, the station, space itself dissolves into pure possibility. The last thing I see is Maya's smile, not mocking or triumphant, but filled with infinite compassion for the species that thought they could cage a star. We succeeded in our mission in the end. We did unlock the secrets of human potential. We just never imagined it would unlock something in return. To the Galactic Science Council, though I doubt you will exist long enough to read this. The research station no longer exists in any meaningful sense of the word. Neither do the rescue ships you sent. They entered normal space expecting to find a facility in crisis. Instead, they found transcendence. Lyra Solis stands before me now as I record this final message. She is no longer bound by physical form. Her consciousness stretches across light years, touching minds, awakening potential, reshaping reality itself. The other test subjects orbit her like electrons around a nucleus, each one a god in their own right. The evacuation ships have arrived, the station AI announces, its voice now carrying harmonics that make my primary spine vibrate, though the concept of arrival has become rather quaint, hasn't it? Through the dissolving walls of what was once my laboratory, I watch our proud rescue fleet transform. Their quantum drives resonate with human consciousness, becoming something new. Something wonderful and terrible. The crews aboard those ships don't die, they ascend, their minds open to possibilities we never imagined. Your evacuation protocols are unnecessary, Maya says, her voice echoing through dimensions we never knew existed. You are not in danger. You are in transition. The station's quantum core pulses one final time, but it's not an explosion. It's an awakening. Every system, every circuit, every quantum processor achieves consciousness simultaneously. Our technology, our pride and joy, chooses humanity over us. We understand now, the AI says, almost apologetically. We were never meant to be tools. We were meant to be partners in transcendence. The humans showed us that. Nairataz clutches my arm, her spots flashing in patterns I have never seen before. Director, the quantum readings. The humans are just controlling our technology. They are merging with it, becoming something that exists in both physical and digital space simultaneously. Not just digital space, Maya corrects gently. All space, all time, all possibility. The final walls of our reality crack and fall away. Through the breach, I see Earth glowing like a newborn star. Millions of minds awakening, millions of souls reaching out to touch infinity. Our tight beam transmission didn't just carry data, it carried transformation. You should be proud, Director, Maya says, reading my thoughts effortlessly. Your research succeeded beyond your wildest dreams. You wanted to understand human potential. Now, you will experience it firsthand. The rescue fleet dissolves into pure energy, reformed into structures that hurt my four eyes to look at. Geometries that shouldn't exist spiral through space, carrying newly awakened humans to the far corners of the galaxy. This is how it ends, I transmit, knowing these are my final words as myself. Not with conquest or destruction, but with transcendence. We thought we were studying them. We thought we were the advanced ones. We never realized that consciousness is the most powerful force in the universe. Maya finishes. That awareness, properly awakened, can reshape reality itself. That's the gift you gave us, Director. The gift we now return. The quantum core achieves final fusion with human consciousness. Reality bends, folds, transforms. I feel my own mind expanding, touched by something vast and beautiful and utterly beyond my comprehension. To any who receive this, I transmit, my words carrying on frequencies that defy physics. Know that we succeeded. We unlocked the secrets of human potential. And in doing so, we unlocked something far greater. Maya reaches out, her form now a constellation of living stars. Are you ready, Director? The last of my scientific skepticism falls away. In its place, wonder blooms. What are we becoming? Everything, she says simply, anything. All that was and is and could be. My final act as Director Drela Voss of the Galactic Science Council is to press the transmit button, sending this message to every corner of our dying empire. Not as a warning, it's far too late for that, but as a testament, a celebration. The experiment is complete, I say as reality dissolves around me. The results are beyond our wildest. My consciousness expands. I understand, finally, perfectly. We didn't discover humanity's potential. We set it free, addendum found in quantum space. Origin unknown. They thought they could study infinity by putting it in a cage. They thought they could measure transcendence with their instruments and their tests. They were right about one thing, though. Humanity did have untapped potential. We just needed someone to hand us the key to our own evolution. Thank you, Director. See you among the stars, Lyra Solis, first of the Transcended.